Hello everyone, this is a general reading for everyone who's interested, and this time I'm not using my own tarot cards but just a regular weight deck in Art Nouveau style. So let me see what comes up for us. Let's see. I feel like I'm getting two things. Some of us have accomplished something, completed something. For many, it's a small thing, but it is something. And it feels like we're still looking back at it, satisfied on some level, but yet not entirely satisfied, and in the pursuit of our next goal. Also, I'm feeling for some it could mean that maybe the large goal hasn't been achieved yet, but one step of it, or two or three steps of several layers that we have to work ourselves through. And now we're like glad, like, okay, I finished or completed this task. Let me rest for a moment, look at it, be grateful and glad I did it, and now slowly start to plan the next steps. That's how it feels. Some of us could also unconsciously carry a slight agitation and anxiety that before reaching this complete goal, this or completing the whole task, someone could jump in and destroy what we have established. Like, just a small example, imagine like children building a castle with some Lego. Is that how you said it in English? Lego? These, you know what I mean? Those small bricks for kids that they can build like a castle or a house. They can just build stuff with them. And maybe the child has completed one layer of the building, but now, it has to take a break, and then it's afraid that another child, maybe in the kindergarten, will come and destroy what it has built. It's just an example, and for us adults, it's a different thing. Like, it could just be a small thing. Maybe you have children and you just swipe the floor, but like in an hour, the kids will be back from school, and before you can finish to clean the whole house, you are afraid that they will already, when they're back, they will already ruin what you have already cleaned. Something like that, but just on a bigger, I feel like for most of us, this is a much bigger thing. Like, I'm not saying that this reading is showing that something like this will happen. It's just a fear within us that, we feel defensive. Just look at this card, like he's fighting. You don't see that there is an enemy. And I'm taking this card very literal here in this reading, like fighting against a ghost, like fighting against this imaginary enemy that could come and destroy something that you have built. Oh, and at the bottom of the deck, I think it was the devil. I didn't take a look properly and already started to shuffle again. It's just something that's in the back of our head. It's just not... And I'm saying our because it's a collective reading. This card just shows to me again, it's the same thing. Like it's, you know, somehow holding on to this small thing that you have accomplished, with this fear of losing it before you have accomplished the complete thing. But here in this card, there's no serious threat or perceived threat that something will come. It's just like, okay, I have this one thing in my hand now. I finished this one. Now let me reflect how to proceed further. While in the back of our head, we are already imagining that something could come and, you know, attack us or attack what we have established. The Queen of Pentacles. I feel like this is more of a foreign energy. There could have been someone who judged what we have established or what we are working on establishing. And the Queen of Pentacles can be a very good quality, but here I'm feeling a little bit of harshness coming from this card. So maybe this fear is not entirely unjustified. Or unjustified. Sorry. Not that this queen truly tried to destroy what you have built, but she might have criticized it in some way, or he could also be a man, of course, or, you know, just even if people don't literally verbally criticize, they could just give us a weird look, a judgmental look, and that itself can trigger very deep fears within us. And then we're moving into the Page of Cups. I feel like we will soon overcome this paranoia, this little fear in the back of our head. Like we're growing out of it, and then I feel like this fish in his cup will be this queen. Like he will just make her small and keep her in control within this cup. And I see the cup as a symbol of emotions somehow, like he has his emotions under control, and now he can... It sounds really bad if I put it like that, but I don't mean it in a toxic way. Play with others' emotions, and that's actually a very bad thing. But I don't mean it this way. I just can't find another expression right now. Like when someone tries to attack us, that we completely turn it around, and then they are struggling in... There's a saying in Germany, like, but I don't know how to translate that into English. Like when someone is trying to dig a grave for someone else, maybe out of envy or, I don't know, just hatred, then they might one day stumble into that grave themselves when they forgot that they were digging this grave, and maybe at night they walk by and they forgot they were digging this hole so that you would fall into it, but you didn't fall into it, and then they fall themselves. And I feel like, all these attacks, if it's a literal attack by a person outside of you who verbally tries to attack you or destroy something that you made, or if it's just your mind, something, like this imaginary foe that you're fighting against, like, this will soon be under control. That's how I feel. That would be nice to live in that state all the time. Yeah. I think there's a lot of reflecting and planning going on right now. Like, how do we bring this further? How do we make this grow bigger? How do we complete this? And I feel like many of us already have a clue. Maybe we don't know yet each single step, how to get there, but we know where we want to get. And we are slowly starting to see the end of the tunnel or the other side of the ocean. Like, it's still some way to get there and there are still some uncertainties, but there is a feeling and a sense that it is possible to get to the end of all of it. Yes, and I see that what I already said, it's just being confirmed again, like, we will soon be in a quite peaceful, balanced state. Maybe some of us, we will treat ourselves for what we have already achieved, even if for many of us it's not the full package yet or the end goal, but just a layer, a step towards the end goal. So we will still celebrate that, and we will somehow withdraw into ourselves and change our perspective, get calm, rest emotionally, especially mentally, and not feel threatened by either this Queen of Pentacles, but she's already in the past. I think she's already out, but we still might feel her aggression towards us. And so maybe this is really just what's left, this imaginary ghost that we're still fighting, that maybe just still lingers on from this person, whoever this person was. I feel like this person might not even be interested in you anymore. I mean, like, in a negative way, this negative kind of attention of her or him is not even directed towards you anymore. But sometimes, just a sour, or there we have him again, the devil. Yeah, it's just a fear, a lingering fear. I don't want to downplay it by calling it just a fear. I know it can be very overwhelming. Oh my God, I'm feeling such a strong connection between those two right now. Oh my God, look, in this deck, this Queen of Pentacles, look how mean she looks. She looks even meaner than the devil, I think. Yeah, they are in this reading, they are a kind of power couple, but in the worst way that you can imagine. But I think, or I feel very strongly that this devil, in this reading, is not an actual person that is being represented by someone outside of you. This is really a metaphor for fear here in our case. And maybe for a spiritual force, for a very negative spiritual force as well. But in this reading, for most of us, he's not embodied in a person somewhere around us. But the queen for many or most of us is. Whether she's a man or a woman, there was someone who tried something. I feel that. Even if it's only verbally. And we still have to struggle with all this fear here for a while, but the outcome is the Ace of Wands. Sorry. Sharp, please. Yes, thank you. So, I don't know why I see it this way right now, but I feel like it's some kind of self-defense. I usually don't see this card this way, but it looks like, you know, someone who's taking a stick into their hand to beat someone. And I get that very strongly right here, like, you know, just beat the obstacles away. You don't have to physically beat them, that's not what I mean, but because I don't feel any physical assault here in this reading, push them away. Whoever it is, push this Queen of Pentacles away. Beat them. Also beat this fear. It could even be for some of us that we hesitated to continue on whatever it is because this person really said something that went so deeply under our skin and triggered some extreme buttons like really the exact ones, like she knew or he knew like really where to pull the string. And that made some of us so doubtful and made us lose our self-confidence, probably even triggered a very deep kind of shame that some of us might have even stopped on working on what we have started to build for ourselves. For some of you, it could even be a relationship. It could be anything. It is very open here in this reading. It could be a hobby, relationship, a physical goal that you have. I don't know, like getting a bigger biceps or, you know, having a relationship with someone that some other person in your environment doesn't agree with, or working on a friendship, working on a new job, working on your old job, but changing something in the way you work. It could be anything. But someone went very deeply under your skin. That's what I'm feeling. And it was kind of a setback. Not that this person actually literally had power over the situation, but they had power over your mind, and they could make you stop on what you were working on, at least for a few days, for some even longer. And I feel like this will be somehow reinitiated, this process, so that you will start to continue to work on it strongly, because I feel a lot of strength from this coming from this card. And yeah, I don't know why today it also represents a certain kind of violence to me, but not physical violence. It's a metaphor somehow. Like, just beat all this, you know, he's also in a kind of violence. He has a sword, and in this time you just don't have a sword, you have this thick stick. Sorry. So that's the core of the reading. The bottom of the deck we have the Hierophant. Maybe that also plays a certain role. Could be. It could be some, like, an inner kind of condition, an inner kind of morality, a negative kind of a morality, some kind of societal stuff that is torturing us from the inside. Some of us could even think that we don't deserve to achieve this. Not because we're not competent or talented enough, but maybe we just don't deserve it because others also don't have that kind of talent. So, something like that. For some of you, it could also be that maybe if you grew up in a family that has worked in a certain job field, maybe in the, if I can say it like that, middle or lower class, and now you want to get some kind of higher degree and be the first one in your family who will go to university or something like that. It could be for someone of you. That there's like an inner morality, like as if you would betray your family if you do not. Let's say for several generations, your family kept up this bakery shop. But you don't want to work there, you want to become a doctor or something, and then your family is disappointed. Or the other way around. Like maybe everyone in your family is working in a medical field and you want to become a cook. Like for some, it could be a family situation where you feel this kind of guilt. For others, it could be something entirely different. Yeah, and you feel like you want to leave this Hierophant behind. But I feel, there is still this lingering guilt. I don't feel a strong sense of shame anymore. Like this deep shame could be fading away, but a bit of guilt and doubt might still be there. Yes, and I see this childhood, family, morality, like, or it could just really be this conditioning, even if it's not something that your parents have put into your head, but it could just be something that comes from school or society in general, or from the culture in which you grew up. So that's it so far. I have to go to work soon. Don't want to be late. Just pull a few more cards. Because I don't feel really satisfied yet by this reading. I want to see if there's something else that's coming up, some kind of advice maybe. There we have the Page of Swords again. Might not want to hear this, but it's really time for self-reflection. And it's really time for us to deal with something that scares us. To face something. To let this fear overwhelm us, even if it's just for a few seconds, so that we can see through something. And overcome it, finally. It is about a change of change of our perspective. There's also something about patience and waiting. There's also about taking things with a bit more ease. This card is not like, the Ten of Swords. It's not a prediction for our future. This card is strongly suggesting to us that we should let go of control. And whatever we're afraid of attacking us, stabbing us, we should face it and see what's happening when it attacks us, maybe even from behind. Let this fear come up and face it. Do not forget about your plans and goals, keep them in your head, but maybe for a day or two, just take a rest and let go of control. Because she's here again, not literally as a person in our life, but within us, something that can be conquered. And this is our chance to see through it and conquer this energy, like this in a negative way energy. For some of us, it's a fear about money or existential stuff. There is something about learning. Learning about a certain type of person that we probably have, all of us have in our life, at least one of this type of person. Probably it's about, seeing through this kind of energy represented in a person so deeply that whenever someone like this tries to attack us again, verbally, physically, emotionally, in our job, in our private life, wherever, that we will not be affected ever again by it because we have seen through it. And the more we resist this kind of energy or try to avoid it, the more power it has over us. So that's, this kind of powerlessness, like here in this card, that's what it's about. Allow it. And as you allow it, you might find out that she actually never had power over you. The Hierophant, the Hermit just approves of all this again. There's something about wisdom, learning, self-reflection. And I think I'm being late. I'm still not really satisfied, but I really have to go now. So I hope it helps someone. Thank you for watching.